The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Professor Lumumba has also joined to support Captain Ibrahim Traore. According to him, these people will always go after the leaders that are doing everything possible to change the narrative in Africa. And any African leader that on his journey as a leader in Africa, that he sees that Yellow Popo praises him, that leader must pause and ask himself, what crime, what evil, what are the bad things that he's doing to his people? Because Yellow Popo will only praise an African leader who is doing bad things to his people. We've seen that Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso are targeted by these people simply because they have risen to make sure they change the narratives in their respective countries, to make sure that people have a better life, to give them everything that citizens of a country need. Like what these people are giving out to their people. So, that our leaders are only praised by these people because they are not doing what they are supposed to be doing. These democratic elected ones, we know how Yellow Popo will always call these people and be praising them, citing that other people, Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, must come back into ECOWAS and be like them.
Yes, right now, you can see what they are trying to do to eliminate my good friend Ibrahim Traore. Survived many assassination attempts. Because when you are doing good, they'll take you out.
The time is now that we must demonstrate that our civic duty not only demands but requires that we make demands of them. This is not the time for cowards who die times without number. Because if you are a coward today, your children and children's children will pay the price of our cowardice. We must speak out and bear the consequences of good governance. Today I'm reluctant to use the word democracy. Because what is it? John Hendricks Clark, that great American, said that when African countries regained their independence, not a single one of them adopted a government system that is based on African traditions. We all adopted systems that were inherited from our erstwhile colonizers. And Clark says, none of us will ever succeed on the basis of those systems. And I can't agree more. Look at Africa today. As I speak, Sudan. Look at Sudan. Look at Somalia. Look at Democratic Republic of Congo. Look at the entire Sahel. In Guinea, Doumbouya had to mount a coup d'etat. In Niger, they had to mount a coup d'etat. In Mali, Atimi Goita had to mount a coup d'etat. In Burkina, Ibrahim Traore had to mount a coup d'etat. In Gabon, Nguema had to mount a coup d'etat. There may have been successful elections in Botswana and in Namibia, but those are few and far between. We must interrogate this thing we call democracy. In Kenya, the people you call leaders, don't listen to them when they are in podiums in Nairobi, no. Listen to them when they are speaking in their mother tongue at funerals. When they are their true selves, they are Bukusus or Maragoli speaking Mulembe nation, or they are Kambas, or they are Kikuyus, or they are Luos. Their political parties don't matter. That is why there is not a single presidential candidate that has contested an election after 5 years in the same political party. As I said before, the forests change, but the monkeys remain the same, with the same habits. And let me tell you, if you continue doing the same thing in the same way, thinking that will change, nothing will change. I now see individuals across the country congregating, and you call them opposition. These were individuals who were in the Moi government. They were in the Kibaki government. They were in the Uhuru government. What is new about them? Nothing except their insatiable greed for power and the privileges that power offers. So we are assembled here to ask critical and serious questions. I've been around. I was here in 1980s. I was here in 1990s when the entire movement of change the Constitution was alive and well. I was in the Council of the Law Society. I've been here and I've seen Kenyans repeatedly electing individuals in the name of democracy who in other parts of the world would be completely unelectable. We elect comedians. And as one wise man, is it Albert Einstein, who said, when you elect a comedian to take him or her to the palace becomes a circus. And that is why we have what we have today. What is the value of knowing that which is right without doing that which is right? I keep on hearing Kenyans saying, we have a beautiful constitution. What is the beauty of a constitution which you honor and breach? What is it? You know, in 1967, the late Tanzanian President Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere was asked, what is the secret of development? And he said in Swahili, siri ya maendeleo ni watu, ardhi na siasa safi. And he added, siri ya maendeleo ni vijana wenye malezi bora, siha njema na bongo kali. And then he said, ukimwona mtu anakimbia sana kwenda ikulu, mkwepe kama ukoma. Kwani kuna biashara gani ikulu? He posed rhetorically. Ikulu ni mahali patakatifu. Msilibadilishe kuwa pango la walanguzi. Weekends hold meeting after meeting in boardroom after boardroom, in workshop after workshop. But we are unmoved and untouched. The question is, when will we have our journey to Damascus? Like Saul of Tarsus, that we may change. Are we ready for the change? Are we prepared to do that which is right and good because it is right and good? I was involved in the process of making the Constitution jointly with others for 5 years. We produced the Boma's draft. We made many recommendations, some of which were retained in the current Constitution. We said Nairobi should not be a county. You made it into a county. We said we should have no more than 18 counties. Between 14 and 18, you created 47. of devolved units, each of which a governor thinks he or she is running a country. The United States of America has only 50 states with a GDP of 23 trillion United States dollars. Nigeria has only 37 states. India 37. China 30 provinces. South Africa 9 provinces. We have 47 counties with 47 governors, 47 deputy governors, 47 speakers, 47 deputy speakers, and you tell me that we are going to grow? When a county raises 400 million in a year and consumes 2 billion in a year, we can't grow. Even if there is divine intervention. We can pray and fast all we want, but nothing is going to change until we change. We have individuals in positions of leadership who do not care. They are unmoved and untouched. You accuse an individual of engaging in corruption. He has a mob around him, escorting him to the offices of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. And he comes out and gives a press conference. Corruption is the most profitable business in Kenya today. You have individuals whose salaries, even if they lived for 1,000 years and worked for 1,000 years, would not buy them half an acre of land, and they are multi-billionaires. They have never won any lottery, never made any discovery, and we celebrate them as successful men and women, and we elect them to boot. As Dr. Waindi said, I grew up partly in Maringo, partly in Jericho, partly in Eastleigh, partly in my rural home in Usenge, in Imbo, in Siaya County. When I was sick, you would go to the dispensary and you would find medication. Today, unless you are suicidal, you don't visit any of those outfits. When our leaders are delivering children, they go to the United States of America. And we are not angry. We are told that our police officers, and is in the public domain, collect 13.3 billion in bribes in a month, and we are not angry. Young Kenyans, the task is yours. Choose you now. Whether you want to be Kambas and Luos and Luhias and Kikuyus, or you want to be Kenyans, with the tribe only being for cultural reasons. Samora Moises Machel said, if the new African nation is to thrive, the tribe must die. Not that you cease to identify yourself as such, but it cannot be the basis for decision making. That I'm voting for an individual because he's from my ethnic group, that is the only qualification. That they gave me 200 shillings, that is the justification. We must rethink governance. Today, we have a parliament whose only claim to fame is that they have insatiable appetite for our taxes. Our parliamentarians relative to our GDP are the best paid in the world. In the world. They want CDF, not because they want to serve us. Each one of them how many companies they have formed, where their drivers and brothers and sisters and house helps are the directors. Ask them. Ask them whether they do not trade with the counties and with the constituencies that they run. Ask the MCA whether that is not true. Ask them how they become multi-millionaires within 2 years of joining public office. Ask them. Ask them why, when the courts have declared CDF to be unconstitutional, why they want to constitutionalize it, whether we like it or not. It is a slush fund. And you know, your typical Kenyan politician thinks that we have the memory of a mosquito and a warthog combined. That is why they don't care about us. The time is now that we must demonstrate that our civic duty not only demands but requires that we make demands of them. This is not the time for cowards who die times without number. Because if you are a coward today, your children and children's children will pay the price of our cowardice. We must speak out and bear the consequences.
The only time we can tell who a true leader of Africa is and is speaking to the people is when they are in our gatherings, like the funeral ground, naming ceremonies, when they are out of the shells of the oppressor system. That is the only time we can really tell their true identity. But when they have prepared themselves to come and give us speech, to talk to us in the system of the oppressor, that time these people always come and lie to us. They are of themselves because they have taken their time to draft the speech that they've come to deliver to the people. But during the funeral grounds, because it's not a special occasion or an official occasion like they will call it, they come in their true character and their true nature. That is the only time we can actually tell who they truly are. We have come to realize that these leaders that these people always praise are the ones that are not helping Africa to develop. These are leaders that they have kept in place to monitor and make sure their systems that they've kept in place are moving as they have planned. And that is why for decades Africa hasn't known peace. When we look at Congo, DRC, and all other places in Africa, we are not knowing peace because of these people. The moment the place becomes stable, these people will fall. Everything of theirs depends on the African. So they try to make sure they create chaos, confusion, and always pretend they come in the guise of helping us. And in that guise, whatsoever they want from us, they keep getting it. And that is why they are scared of the African unity. That is why they are doing everything possible in their power to eliminate these people. Because they don't see the reason to which the African must be free for them to suffer. All the classes that they've named us, the moment Africa unites under one umbrella, together, these people will become that same class that they have named us. And they've made it clear. We've heard a lot of their professors and their big people telling us that for them to fall, they will fight. And we have to also let them understand that for us to keep being poorer, having our own mineral resources and not enjoying it, we'll also fight. So it is a battle. Already they have declared war. And that is why in their comfortable lead, they have sat down, always making sure they get people who are gatekeepers that will do nothing, like we've seen what they are doing. And there's no African leader who could come out to say something backing Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. Because the moment they do that, they'll have a problem with their masters. And in order to be in good terms with their masters, they have to allow their brother to be dealt with, like what they did to all our freedom fighters. These people call themselves leaders in Africa, but they are not leading us. They are only there to make sure Yellow Papa agenda that he has kept in place in Africa keeps happening. And that is why for centuries, for decades, we are still suffering, and these people are doing nothing to help us. Theirs is to make sure we continue to suffer for these people to rise up. This is a powerful speech and very educative. United we stand. divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa, East Africa, and in Kenya.